So I'm going to get in and start sharing my screen. Let me get in here. And I'm going to be going back and forth through a few different tabs up here. Because I've created a few different things, we're going to need to pull from a few different places. So one of the things that I realized at the end of last year, right, when we went to virtual learning, that we didn't get a chance to give everyone books, right? It was that Friday, March 13th, and our principal was like, we're going to be leaving, like, just let kids take books. And then it was like, okay, well, we thought we were only going to be doing this for like 2 weeks. And then it was like, okay, now what, right? We've been home, and it's like, okay, the books that we probably gave them, they've read them all. So this was one way that I took it upon myself during the summer to kind of work with a bunch of other teachers from different states, even on some of the Facebook pages, to create some of the virtual libraries. So I tried to start organizing different pre-built virtual book rooms. And then, like, of course, what do we say? Like, teachers are really great, the beg, borrow, steal kind of thing. So I kind of started with that, thinking, what can I do to help my students so that they have a place to go to grab books? So I created a virtual leveled book room. Okay, so I have a lot of options in here. So if you want a copy of this, I definitely will share that with you. So all of these tabs I have up here are pre-built virtual classroom. So I'm going to go into my Google Drive here, and I'm going to put on Pinnell. Hopefully it populates. You know how frustrating it is when you go in, you have something in Google Drive, but you're not sure what it was called, and then to go in and search for it. So what I created here, just as a side note, was just a big drive of virtual rooms. So if you notice in here, I've got some virtual libraries, read alouds, listening boards, etc. So I'm going to open this one. This one, it says 3rd grade because I'm a 3rd grade teacher, but obviously everybody can use it no matter what grade you're in. I started pulling books, digital books, and making a guided reading room. So Fontes and Pinnell leveled. So I'm going to get you guys going from scratch. I'm going to show you how to do this. I do have to say before we do that, creating from scratch, you fall down the rabbit hole. You will spend hours doing it. I'm just going to warn you now, because it's very creative. It gets very exciting, very fun, but then you realize, oh my God, I've been doing this for hours. So just know that. You can make it as basic as you want, or you can make it as complicated as you want. So if you're looking at this, each one of these pieces is an image, okay, that got copied and pasted into this bookshelf on the background. So you can do it however you want. What I did was I just created from scratch and then duplicated the slides and then customized them so that each page was different leveled books. So if I had an A reader, let's say in Kinder, they could come in here and click on the books and open it. So a lot of the links are Epic. So if you already use Epic, this will take them to that in a different way if you want them to access it, other than maybe having to go to Epic and get in and find their right level. So this is definitely very helpful for different students based on needs. So this just gives you an idea of a very basic leveled book room. You can select whatever bookshelf you want, and then you can choose the books. Okay, so the first place you're going to want to start is grabbing the materials that you want. And this is why I said, if you wanted different resources from me, so you aren't necessarily building from scratch, if you see that to you doesn't feel like something you really want to do, then you can pull from my resources. So for example, you could take this background, it's already created, you could put over here on the frame what level you wanted, and then put books over here on the shelf. So I'm just going to go in and we're going to pretend from scratch. If you were going to do that, I definitely, I don't want to say I wouldn't suggest it, but just know that it is time consuming. So I'm just going to go in here and create, if my computer will cooperate. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just go in here. I can go into items that I already have because I already have a pool of different backgrounds. So I have like carpets and bookshelves and different furniture. And I have these for you guys to share if you want them. So I could put a couch in here, right? I can just go to my little library here and grab everything. And it's sorted as much as I could do. And you guys can always find things online. So if I go through here, I could say that maybe I just want to grab like this bookshelf. This one looks like I might be giving a few books, let's say, to a small group. Or I could go in and select a big bookshelf. So having this resource was really helpful. I could put whiteboards in there and make notes. Let's say I don't have any of that. I could just go in and put transparent. Transparent is going to be your important piece. And then I might say like bookshelf. And if I were searching from scratch, I could do that. You might even say like empty bookshelf. So doing the search. Okay, you could grab this one, right? If you want a tall one, a short one, you decide. It's going to be very creative. You can choose what you want. So I'm going to go in and I can do a few things. I can save this as a PNG, right? Or a PDF, or I can go in and I can use my Windows Shift S. And when I do that, it brings up, it's basically the snip tool. So I can go in and grab this bookshelf. It's going to save it to my clipboard, and then I can put it back in my presentation. So I could go in and take this bookshelf, and I can put it anywhere I want in my room, right? I can make it bigger or smaller. I can combine bookshelves together. So let's pretend I'm going to go in here and do this. I'm going to grab a bookshelf. I might be making a little book room for, let's say, my JKL readers. I might go into Epic and pull books that way. And I'm going to show you how to grab those books and insert them into your bookshelf. So let's go into Epic, right? Because I maybe don't remember what books are at that level off the top of my head, or I do have a little pool of books. I know I read Jabari Jumps today with some of my like my JKL readers yesterday, or actually it was yesterday. I'm going to go in. I can always Google search these as well, right? If I know exactly what book I want. And then I'm going to take that book. Let's say it is Jabari Jumps, because I am making a small book room for this leveled group. This is a level L. I'm going to use that same Windows Shift S. I'm going to grab the cover of the book. Okay, that's going to save to my clipboard. I'm going to go back into my document here, and then I'm just going to do Control V, the CTRL button, Control V, and then you're going to use the corner of your little book, and you can shrink this down as small or as big as you need. Obviously, if I wanted to make my bookshelf bigger, I can do that as well. The smaller your bookshelf is, obviously, the smaller the books have to be on the bookshelf. Okay, so I'm going to attach this here. I might, go in and add some lights to this, put at the top, like, reading levels, J through L. I can do this a whole bunch of ways. I will share resources with you. We've got banners and all kinds of cool things. So here's my book. Okay, I want my kids to be able to go back in and read it. So I'm going to go back to Epic. I'm going to grab the book. I'm going to go up here to the link. I'm going to do the Control C again. This does take a little bit of time going back and forth between your tabs. If you want to do your split screen, you definitely could do that. And then we're going to use the button Control K. When I use Control K, it opens up a link for me. So I've got a lot of shortcuts, and I know Megan's been giving out all those different like shortcuts, tech tips, all of those. So definitely Control C and Control V, and then Control K, whatever you want to have a link, you will use that. And then I'm just going to go back in and do a Control V, and it's going to grab that link, and then I'm just going to click apply. So now when my kids come in, they can click on this book and it will take them straight to Epic. Okay, so let's say on another note that maybe I wanted to make a whole book room based on like an author study or character studies, or like we just had Dr. Seuss, we can have a whole like Dr. Seuss themed book room as well. So I do have those in my resources. So nobody needs to create those from scratch. I have a lot of things. So I will share those with you, and then you guys can go from there. Tons of pre-built rooms, lots of backgrounds. I've got wallpaper. You guys can make your rooms all cute, or you can just grab rooms that are already created, right? We've got doors, we've got, the sky's the limit. It's almost like doing interior design, like you would do at home, but digitally. And so it's, you know, it's been a little controversial. Some think it's unnecessary, some think it's fantastic, right? Because it gets your kids engaged. I like to switch my things up every month, and I'll hide different book rooms in or different backgrounds. And they're like, oh my gosh, Ms. Munroe, you have like a St. Patrick's Day. You just put that in. And I'm like, I'm so glad you noticed. So really, we have the sky's the limit on these. I have a ton of things. You can totally edit these. They're already prepared. I mean, it's amazing. But keep in mind, it is very time consuming. If you go down that rabbit hole, I promise you, even this, like I could share this with you. You could put your name at the top. You could put like reading group level JKL, you know what, you could change the math poster to something reading, and then you could actually go on this bookshelf over here and put whatever books you wanted. So if, let's say it's the beginning of the year and you wanted to do all of those cute like back to school books, you could totally put them there. By the way, I have that. So if you want things, just let me know and I will definitely share them with you. Any questions so far, so I can navigate exactly where you guys want to see? I'm going to stop share for a moment.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so for example, I know that other teachers have shared their classrooms also, but I'm usually nervous about going and making changes because I always
Right.
forget, is it make a copy
It is
first
make a
and
copy
then you can
first.
make changes?
Yep.
And that will make sure that their copy doesn't get affected at
Yes.
all.
So
Correct?
for example, if I
Okay.
share something with you right now, I might have already made a copy that's not my own master copy, right? And it's going to be a copy of a copy. So for me, it doesn't really matter if you change it, but because I already have my master copy. But on your end, you might be like, oh no, I think I changed her master copy. So just always, yeah, go in and make your own copy. And then when you look in your Google Drive, you'll notice, so let me go back and share my screen, because you will see in mine, I have a lot of things that I've got from other teachers. Let me go in and just do copy, like copy of. Everything that I have a copy of, if I never went back and changed it for myself, I'm gonna see the teacher's like copy of for me. And I know if I need to go back in and make my own. So let's grab like this person that made this. I didn't sit down and take hours to make this, but it's definitely a really cool resource. So this person spent time creating like, you know, little book baskets. And so they can go in and edit and make, you know, if they're studying like Native people for social studies, they put together a page that has all of those books together, and you can link these to the page in your slide deck. So that's something else that you can do if you wanted to. So for us, let's say like third grade is going to be studying animals pretty soon, right? We're going to be doing animal research for reading. I could go in here and I could make a book bin that says animals. I could go down here. Let's say I want this one to be animals, right? I could click on here. I can add a text box. I can label this one animals. I can change these around, right? As soon as I get a copy of this, I can edit it however I want. I can customize it to fit whatever we're studying. I clearly would have to change the font color because it's showing up as black. So I will click into here. Let me move my Zoom box out of the way. I'm going to click to change that to white real quick. Okay, so let's pretend I have an animals bin that I wanted to make. I can scroll down on my toolbar on the side. I would create maybe another slide, right? Just like I showed you, you could put the little bookshelf in. You could say like all about animals. Obviously, I don't have time in the 20 minutes to show you how to do that whole thing, but I do have some rooms that already have animals in them. So I could pull from another slide deck and link it here. So I would go in here and put my animals. Okay, let's pretend. I'm just going to grab this one for purposes of showing. This one actually says like ha 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 because it's all funny books, but let's not skip it. I'm going to open it up so you guys can see. Let's pretend this is my animal bookshelf that I made, right? I grabbed all my books and I put them on here. This is slide 3. So what I would do is I would go back to my main page. I would go down here just like I did before. I'm going to click on the word animals. I'm going to do Control K. Then instead of putting a link, I'm going to put slides in this presentation. So if I made another slide, which is slide 3, that had all my animal books on the bookshelf, I can click slides in this presentation and I'm going to go in. My little mouse is not letting me get down there. There we go. Yeah. And I'm going to grab slide 3 and then I'm just going to click apply. So then when the kids come to here to animals, remember when it makes a live link, it changes it back to that like turquoisey color. If you don't want it turquoise, you would just go back and change it. If you ever see anything like that turquoise color, it means it has a link behind it. You can change that back to white. Now when my kids click this animals, it's going to take them to the animal slide. Then all my animal books, right? We're going to pretend that there's all animal books here. Then it would link it that way. So if I shared this with you right now, right, I would go up here. I'm going to give you a copy of, let's say, for example, right, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to copy this for you. And I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to share it with everyone just so you guys can, you know, pretend, go in, you can manipulate it, change the books around. There you go. And notice right here in the chat, it says edit, right? In that link, it says edit. If you ever are sharing something with someone, you can go and you can change that word edit to copy. If you do that, then it's going to force a copy. Okay. So let me go in. Of course, it says you need access because I don't have it opened up to anyone. I'm going to go in and I will edit that for you right now. Thank you for reminding me. Let me go in and change the restricted to anyone with the link. There you go. All right. And if you notice on there, I also put that you're a viewer. So if you go in to try to edit it, if I change that from edit to view, then you won't be able to edit it anyway. You'll be forced to kind of make your own copy anyway. So just keep that in mind when you're sharing links. If it doesn't allow you to edit, it's because that person didn't give you editing rights anyway. So you would have to make a copy. Okay. Any other questions? I want to make this as customizable as possible. Does anyone want to see something very, very specific? I can definitely show you. Is there something you missed that you want me to go back and show again?
I didn't see where your edit button was. Where did you just say edit?
Where did I just say edit? For the link? Okay. Let me go back in here. So let me grab. Okay, so I don't know the best way to share this with you. I'm going to go back into this little Google docs.google.com. So if you notice right here, let me scoot it. It's very, very long. Okay, can you guys see it's teeny tiny? I could probably zoom in for you. Right here, it says edit. If I take that word edit out and I change it to copy, as soon as I copy this link and I share it with you in the chat, I'm going to go back in. Okay. You're going to notice that now, instead of after that backslash, it doesn't say edit anymore. It says copy. So when you open it now, it's going to force a copy. So go ahead and try it. Did you see it? Did you see how it changed it? So always in your links, there's a spot where you can change it to copy. You can also change it to view, or you can change it to present. So if you want your kids to only see something in presentation mode, you can always change that link so it is always in present mode for them. So that's one way you can make sure that when you're sharing links, the person that's opening it up only has that access. They're either viewing it, they're able to make a copy, you can have them edit, or you can have it in presentation mode. Okay. Does anybody want?
I do. How did you
Okay.
get it like with the little slashed out eyeball to skip when presenting certain slides?
That's a great one too, because when you're working and you're doing your slides, sometimes you don't want the kids to see certain slides. You might skip that and save it for yourself. Only you can see it, the kids can't. So let me go back in here. Let's go back to that ha 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 slide. If you right click on your mouse, you go right back to skip slide. So it's in that same editing slide menu as it would if you were going to duplicate your slide. If you skip it, then it's going to put an eyeball. That means the kids won't see it when they're in presentation mode, and when you're showing stuff, it's skipping it for the students. So you can have it there for you. Like, let's say you make a slide and you're like, okay, if we have time, I'll do that slide. But if we don't, you can just keep it in skip mode. And then if you have time, you can unskip it, and then voila, it's already there for you. I do that with a lot of things. I'll create a master slide deck for my day. I'll just give you like an example over here. And some days I need some things, and some days I don't. Like on a Wednesday, I wouldn't need my recess slide, right? Because we don't have recess on a Wednesday because it's a minimum day. So what I would do is I'll take this slide that says recess, right? And I will click skip slide so that when I'm presenting on here to my kids, they won't see the recess slide, because we don't have recess on a Wednesday because it's a minimum day. Or on a Wednesday when we don't have ELD, I will cover up whatever I have for ELD and I'll just save it for the next day. And then I have the slide from Tuesday and I'm going to use it again on Thursday. So I don't want to delete it, but I just want to skip it for today. So that's one way you can kind of save yourself some time. You can put a bunch of things in here and just skip them until you need them for that day of the week. Okay. Anything else? What else do we need?
Okay, just a quick question. So in Google Classroom, like how I've seen different ways. How have you found the best way to present it to the kids? Do you put it as like an assignment, or do you do it like, how do you present it to the kids?
So what I would do, let's say I'm going to do like for today, I will go back. Let's say like this, I would make maybe a bookshelf, right? Right now I don't have a bookshelf in here, but I totally could. I have my reading group, my QRS. I might have a specific book that I want them to read, but I could put a bookshelf over here with all the books that are in their level. And what I would do is I can share that with the students. I usually put it in my master slide deck, but I could definitely go into here and take this one slide out. I'm going to do file, make a copy. I could totally make a copy of just this slide, and I'm just going to click selected slides. Then what it will happen is it's just going to pull that one slide out, and I can make one that says like level QRS, and that would be my small group. And then I could share just that slide with that group. So I would go in and maybe put that in Google Classroom, let's say, and I would just share it with those few kids. I could share it as just material, because I don't want them to necessarily turn anything in. So I would go in here. Obviously, I'm going to open my share settings, because if I don't, it's going to do the same thing I just did to you guys, where it's going to say like request access. So I definitely want to open this up for my students. I'm probably going to open it up as South Bay, because they're logging in on their Chromebooks. I'm going to click, take the restriction off, South Bay. I'm going to copy the link, and notice it does say viewer, so they can't edit. I'm going to click done, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pretend that I'm going to do this as material. You can definitely do that. You can make a slide deck with different pages for each of your groups, and then just teach your kids like your page is this page. After you do it a few times, they get really good. Like, you're in this group, go ahead to that page and find it. But if you wanted to do it, you could come in here and create it as material. And I can just grab that link, and then I would link it. So this is where that comes in handy, knowing the edit, copy, all of that, the view access, and the present. So notice it does say edit again. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do present, right? I could do that if I want them to see it in big screen. If I don't care, I can just do a view. Okay. And then it's going to bring up just this one slide for those kids. And remember, I made it as material, so I don't have to make a copy for them, and I'm not going to have them turn anything in. So I could just come up here and say books for group QRS, right? I might put a description down here. Here are some new books. Book for you to read, right? For character studies. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to come over here, and I do it as topics. I might do it as today's work, or I might do it as a reading resource. It's depending on how you have your information sorted, I guess, however you like your information. So I might go to today's work. I do have a lot of reading resources, so I could put it there. And then I can also schedule it for tomorrow. So let's just pretend I'm going to schedule it so that the kids will open it tomorrow. And I can change the date and time. And then I'll just push schedule. Or you can send it out right now. So I could send it out to the kids right now. And if I sent it to everyone, do you see how I didn't edit? I didn't change anything. I'm going to go back and be like, oh no, I just sent that to everybody. Then I can go back and I can select. I'm going to go down to my reading resources because I have these sorted by topic. I'm going to go back and edit this. So it came up as grayed out because it's scheduled for tomorrow. That means I can make any edits I want. It hasn't gone out to anyone yet. I can go back here and change it to just the students that I want. So I don't want everyone. I just want to grab my, 3 or 4 students that are in that group. So this friend, right? This friend and this friend, just for purposes of like really doing that. And then I just hit reschedule. That means those 3 friends are just going to get that book room. So there you go. Hope that's super helpful. If you need anything, let me know. I have, more than what I showed you, but we don't want to, get too overwhelmed.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Carolyn.